What's up, guys? My name is Michael Pendergraft, and thank you so much for clicking on this video and checking out my channel. For one of my first videos that I'm going to make here on this channel, I kind of wanted to introduce myself a little bit to the audience so you guys can understand who I am, kind of my background a little bit, and some context, like before I just start uploading videos on this channel, so you guys can kind of understand me a little bit, or understand what kind of content and what kind of videos are going to be on this channel. So I've had a long history with YouTube and content creation on the internet, and not a long history in the sense of actually creating, but in the sense of consuming videos and wanting to be a consistent YouTuber and wanting to have subscribers and wanting to create the content that I love to watch myself so much. And I kind of just want to give you guys some of my life story so far. I'm very young. I'm only 18 years old. So my life story isn't too huge and grand and full of these crazy stories. But I do have, some interesting details to share with you guys. But to me, what's going to be the most important in this one of the very first videos, some of you guys may have seen my Jesus is King reaction video that hit 1,000 views. That was insane to me. Thank you guys, everybody who watched that video. But I wanted this video to almost act as the first full-length form video of mine, where I just kind of talk on my own and give my own opinions. So I think this really starts. So I'm 18 years old. I'm from San Antonio, Texas. Technically, I'm actually from these two little bitty towns outside of San Antonio on the southeast side called Atkins, Texas, where I live, and Lavernia, Texas, where I went to grade school from kindergarten to my senior year this past year, where I graduated in May. So my entire childhood, I've lived in Texas my entire life. My parents both lived in this area, and my parents had me at a very young age. We used to live in, so I've only moved one time in my entire life, and the time I did move, we literally just lived probably three minutes away from my house right now is where I used to live. I actually drive by it all the time, so it wasn't really that crazy of a move. But where we used to live was just down the road. It was a mobile home where we lived until I was probably in 6th grade. We moved to where I live now. So I lived at in that mobile home for the better part of the first 11 years of my life. And I think a lot of my memories from when I was really young are a little bit blurred. I remember my furthest memories are probably 4 years old. Some of my first days at pre-K and kindergarten. It's as crazy as it is. You guys will find out later. I was actually one of the smartest kids, in kindergarten, 1st grade. I was the kid in class who, whenever the teacher would hand back the papers, all the kids would race over to my cubby to look at my paper to see what I got. And if they got a better grade than me, they would go crazy and act like hooligans. It's safe to say, towards the end of my schooling career, that was definitely not the case. But it was once upon a time like that. So I've always been a pretty, bright or curious kid, I would say. I've noticed throughout my entire life, I've been very obsessive over the things that I do like. I absolutely buy in hardcore and obsess over the things that I'm into. Some of the things being, I remember there was a time in my life when I was super obsessed with the solar system and space. I was so obsessed with space that I had the solar system painted on my roof when I was at my old house when I was really young. I was obsessed with snakes for a while. I had this huge snake book where I learned all the snake species there possibly was. I remember I was 7 or 8 years old, and I knew every single president of the United States, exactly what year their terms was, the number of president that they were, and people thought it was crazy, but in reality, I was just memorizing things. It wasn't really that big of a deal. I was really just memorizing things. But the point being is I would be very obsessive with things, and I'm still like that. It's just who I am. I obsess over those things. And then I think a gear switched in me, probably for the worse. Whenever I started like really obsessing over sports, when I was probably 8 or 9 years old, I really got into sports. For all you guys that watch sports and knows, I'm talking. For me, I'm 18. I was born in 2001, so I'm talking '07 Patriots versus Giants. The undefeated Patriots lose to the Giants. I'm talking Kobe Bryant versus Paul Pierce, Celtics Big Three, '08 Finals, 2010 Finals as well. Like these were my prime years when I was really young. I obsessed over sports for years and years. I played sports quite a bit when I was young. I played soccer, football, baseball. But my main sport was basketball. I played basketball all the way up until the end of my sophomore year in high school. So I played a couple of years in grade school. I played basketball, and but my sporting career ended after that. And the one thing that I have been obsessed with since I was as old as I can remember, like just a long time, is creating content on the internet and being a media person, being an influencer, being a creative. It's just a void that I just cannot, that I just have wanted to fill for so long. I've thought about creating YouTube channels, honestly, for the better half of the past 4 or 5 years. Hardcore. I thought about it time and time and time again. I think eventually you just get tired of pondering and thinking about it, and you just have to do. So I think a good time to go into is high school. So high school is a very interesting time in my life. And I just had graduated this past May. So I've only been out of high school for about 6 months now. But so for I started my freshman year of high school then, I guess 4.5 years ago, about. And I would say from that time until now, I've just thought about what I wanted to do when I had gotten out of high school. I was always the kid in high school that I never thought about my work or my classes or going to school. I was always looking at what I was going to do after I got out of school. And I hadn't noticed it until probably my sophomore year. I really started to realize that what it was called, what I was doing, and it was called being an entrepreneur, being a businessman. That's what I realized I really wanted to do about 2 or 3 years ago. I really realized it, and I didn't know any better. I was just going off what I'd seen and what I'd known in my life. My father has been an entrepreneur my entire life. You know, he's 42 right now, okay? And I'm 18, so basically his entire adulthood, I've been alive and around him, and I never realized exactly what he was doing until I got a little bit older. Then I realized that's why I am the way that I am is really because of him. And the things that I've seen have just put me in this mentality, this mindset that I have. I started, my first business was probably when I was in junior high, okay? I remember when I was it was either 7th or 8th grade. I don't really remember. Those years get very mixed for me. I had saved up a little bit of money. I don't really remember where I had gotten the money, but I had about $500 in 7th or 8th grade. And I wanted to start a business, okay? But here's the problem when you're in 7th or 8th grade. You don't know crap about business. You don't know anything. So I went on Alibaba, okay, and I found some phone cases that I liked. I was like, okay, I could sell these phone cases, and maybe make a little bit of money. So what I did was I had taken every single dollar that I had at that time, and my dad matched all my money, okay? My dad, I think I put in, maybe I didn't have $500. I probably had about $300, okay? And he matched my $300 as well. So I took all this money and I bought like 400 cases on Alibaba. And I just remember being so scared that night because my account literally, like when you're like 12 or 13, like having $300 in your account is like insane. I was like, oh my God, this is so much money. And I remember my dad sent in the money too. And then it was all gone when I bought all my stuff. And I was extremely nervous. And then I got the product in and I didn't really sell a lot of it. I did not really sell a lot of it. It was basically a failure. I still have most of the stuff in my dad's office right now. It's still there 4 or 5 years later. It's still there. It's like a haunting reminder of my failure in the beginning. And so that really left a bad taste in my mouth, probably in 7th or 8th grade. And I remember my freshman year of high school, it was really a rough year for me. I'll be completely honest. I was the youngest kid at school. I didn't fit in at all with the older kids at school. I was very introverted. I was very quiet to myself. I was terrible with girls, especially older girls. None of the older guys really liked me. The only thing I had going on for me socially was that I played basketball, and some of the other kids in my grade had like known me, but I wasn't like really in anybody's cliques, I would say. And so my freshman year of high school was pretty much me starting this hustle. This was 2015, okay? This is the hustle back in the days, guys. Was selling FanDuel NBA lineups, okay? So what I would do was I would basically play FanDuel completely illegally underage. I just simply lie about my age and say I was like 18 or 21 at the time and play NBA FanDuel. And so I noticed that I was making like a little bit of money playing on my own, but then I had the idea to sell lineups. So I started selling lineups to all these people. I was like 15 and a freshman in high school. I started skipping class. I was literally sitting in the restroom, just sending lineups and collecting this money. And it was pretty successful. I did it for about 5 months, the most of my freshman year of high school. And I had made quite a bit of money. It was pretty intoxicating for the most part. I remember that was some of the biggest rushes I'd ever had, like those young days of doing this hustle. And it was a win. It was a big time success, but then it just kind of petered out, it just kind of like went away and died off. But what I had left after that 9th grade year was a lot more money than I'd ever had before, some success and a good experience. And so entering my sophomore year of high school, it was a lot of the same from my freshman year. I was kind of a little bit of like kind of a loner a little bit, but I've always kind of been like that. I've always liked to be by myself and hang out by myself. I really don't mind it at all. I feel very comfortable when I'm by myself. But I think I really attribute kind of a little bit of a change in myself and my spirit is when I had met my girlfriend my sophomore year. She was a freshman at the time. I was a sophomore. I was 15 when I met her. We're still together right now. And she really kind of helped me become more social and go outside my comfort zone and talk to people at school that I'd never talked to before, that I would never even think about talking to. And it really was a very good experience for me that sophomore year. That year, I didn't do like really any business, I would say. It was really just a lot of life experiences, and I was head over heels in a relationship, and all the great things that come with that. It was definitely part of life. So my junior year of high school came around, which was two and a half years ago, and I remember thinking, like having this feeling come to me that, wow, this is going to be over soon. I'm going to be out of school soon, and I have to figure out what I'm going to do, what I want to do. And looking back on it, it's so crazy how fast that 2.5 years went by, but also how much I've changed and how much I've learned since then. Being a YouTuber and a podcaster and all these things really, really ran through my head back in these days. But I would always make excuses, and a lot of it was, oh, what if the kids at school make fun of me? Or just all this dumb stuff that does not matter at all. Like who cares? But you don't realize that till you get out of school. But it was these things. It was me being self-conscious and not wanting to put myself out there like that. So that's what really held me back that year. But that year, so I would say it was April of 2018, which was towards the end of my junior year, that I started the business that I have right now. I remember, ironically enough, it's actually doing foam cases again. So I had taken that big L I took back in junior high, and I redid my strategy, and it's been a huge success, and I still do it today, and it's my main business right now. And I started that at the end of my junior year. So these tendencies to be a businessman have like been in me for years now, and they haven't really blossomed. Like they really have blossomed the past year, I'd say. But at the end of this junior year, I got a job. My very first job, I worked at a grocery store called H-E-B here in South Texas, and I was a bagger, okay? So I got this job in May of the end of my junior year, and I also had started this business in April of that year, right before I got this job. I also set pins at this bowling alley at the same time as well. I worked there with my girlfriend for the most part. I worked there for about 6 months, and I worked at the grocery store too at the same time. And that was a little bit of a hustle I had going on. The summer between my junior and senior year, I just worked a lot. And then my senior year came rolling around, and it was definitely the best year of high school for me. It really was. I did have a good time. I hung out with friends way more than I had before. I met a lot of new people. It was a better time than the other years of high school, definitely, for sure. And I think it was throughout that year that I really, really was thinking, what am I going to do when I get out of high school? You know, at the beginning of that year, I was like, for sure that I was going to go to a university, okay? I'm going to go to a university. I'm going to go to some of the colleges near here, Texas State or the UT of San Antonio. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go to a university, and I'm going to go get my degree. And as that year went on, you know, as the year progressed, I started switching from school to school. Oh, I'm going to go to this school. I'm going to go to that school. And then I realized I just don't want to go to school. Like, I don't want to go to school. Like, that's why I'm switching. Has nothing to do with the school. The schools are the same. I just don't want to go to school. And it was that same year that I got really serious about business, that I had never been that serious before. And I knew it was because I was going to be an adult out of school soon. And I knew I knew this is what I want to do. This is what I'm good at. This is what I love to do. Like, I need to take this seriously. And it was really in February of this year, February of 2019, the second semester of my senior year, that me and my friend Dylan were watching Gary Vee Trash Talk in freaking dual credit lab class. We were watching it, and we got the idea, let's just go to Goodwill. Let's pick up some stuff there and let's flip it on eBay. I'd already been selling cases on eBay. I'd already had a business. I was already making decent money for a high schooler, I'd say. And we started doing all these flipping, and then I met Cody Dunlap in April of that year. He was a military recruiter, but we started talking about entrepreneurship, and he showed me how to flip sneakers that year. And so I would say from February of 2019 to now, the past 9 months, I've taken business to the absolute extreme. So let me just clear the story up a little bit. So February comes along, April comes along, then May comes along, and it's time for me to graduate high school, okay? It was coming to an end. I don't remember how this came about, but it did. I came to the thought that I wanted to be a realtor. I wanted to be a real estate agent, probably like in March or April, probably, of my senior year of this year, March or April of 2019, that I wanted to do this. I still don't really remember where that came up, but it did. And I was like, I really wanted to do it. And so I graduated high school in May of 2019. And then I did June. I pretty much just chilled. I went on vacation with my family. But then in July, I attended the San Antonio Board of Realtors, SABOR. I went to real estate school for 6 weeks in a row, like literally all day long for 6 weeks. And I passed all my classes and I got my real estate license in like September or October, just a couple months ago. I got my real estate license, and I do go to college. I go to a community college near here called Northeast Lakeview College. So before I knew it, I was done at the San Antonio Board of Realtors, getting my real estate license in August. And the week after I was done my real estate classes, I started college the very next week. And before I knew it, I was in college at the community college, which is super easy. I'm not a student, man. I'm a businessman. I don't really ever think about college that much, but I was there, I'm doing it, and before I knew it, it was September, October of this year. I had my real estate license, I was in college, and I was running my business. How I got there, life just happens fast. It really just happened really fast. And now it's the last day of November of 2019, and I'm gonna be a realtor, a real estate agent, in just a couple of weeks. I'm gonna start working as that, as well as running my business hardcore. That's what I do. That's my love, is business. And now it's time for me to check this off my list and get this ball rolling, because this is the last piece for me to really put it all together. I'm talking my business, my real estate, and then creating content online, being a YouTuber. This is just absolutely my dream, and it's absolutely achievable. You have to get over the fear of posting this BS excuses of not doing it and being scared. I'm over it. I'm done. Nobody cares about me. Nobody cares what I look like or how I sound like, or nobody's judging me. If they are, who cares? Okay? Like, I just have to do this, because if I don't do this, I'm going to regret it. And I'm not going to live with regret or wishing that I had done something. I'm simply going to do it, because that's all I know how to do is just do it, start. And so this is what this video is right now. This is going to be the first long form video I have on this channel of me just basically chatting with you guys. It feels good to do this. It feels really good to get this started. This is going to go up tomorrow, which is going to be December 1st. I'm going to put this video up, and I really plan on posting at least once a week from now on. And what I'm going to talk about on this channel, I don't know yet. I have no idea. I do a lot of reselling. I do a lot of just regular product business. I listen to a lot of music. I love music. You guys have seen my Jesus King review. I love music. I love sports. I love podcasting. I love vlogging. So it's going to be all different types of videos. The channel's just going to be me. It's going to be me. It's going to be my life. It's going to be what I wanted, what I do, what I love to do. And if you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you so much. I know this may have just been a random spiel, but hey, like, I don't care. I'm just excited to make this video. I appreciate every single one of you guys who watched the video. If you guys enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a big like on the video. Subscribe to my channel. Comment down below what you thought. I'm excited to see what you guys thought about the video. I can't wait to see you guys again next time. Peace.